Let's discuss. And do you play group content in Neverwinter? If so, you probably know how important artifacts are for the group. And most content is vital for the group, especially when you start getting into master content. As a hoster, you already know which artifacts get on your nerves the most. For a lot of people who aren't hosting and just joining the runs, that a lot of times they aren't paying attention to the artifacts until the group wipes. And the reason why the artifacts is a major culprit is because artifacts is 100% controllable. You don't know how good a player is at playing their class or knowing the mechanics, but what you can 100% control is the artifact they're using. And I've compiled a list of the top 5 most cringe artifacts that I've seen in the game. And if you know another one, please comment below. I'm interested to see your observation. This will not be a surprise to any hoster in the game. Number 1, this damn artifact. Where are you? The searing conduit of magma. Right? The group, when one player is using this, in group content, the group is hurting because one player is getting buffed while the two other DPS, the tank and the healer, for whatever damage they do, and the 5 companions damage is not being buffed. There is some case to say, well, I do 4 times more damage than the whole group combined. Okay, well, generally those players that are doing that type of damage know better to wear than wearing this artifact. This thing's cringe. Like I see hosters, there's hosters that won't even tell people to take off. They'll just straight up kick them or not invite them. That's how cringe this artifact is. And a lot of players don't know that because it takes a while to start learning in this game that the group's damage is more important than your damage. Um, and this artifact, I don't know, if they could bring this artifact again with the same stats but no bonus whatsoever, it would still have just as much use as it currently has. It's a great secondary artifact. In the current state of game, with only two 1800 level artifacts, this is arguably best in slot for DPS. But as a primary artifact, it is 100% cringe. Then we go to artifact number 2. This one I would actually rank as number 1 because most players don't have this searing magma yet. But the Venom Storyteller's Journal, my goodness. If you are ever hosting a dungeon and you get to the door and you're all waiting, you're like, are you coming? They're like, 45 seconds, please. I'm waiting for my artifact to cool down. And you're thinking, why are you using this envenomed artifact in the first place on mobs when we steamroll mobs? So basically, they saved 2 seconds killing the mobs, but it cost the group 45 seconds at the door. This artifact is super annoying for every single hoster in the game. Oh, at least most players aren't using it at the bosses anymore. You still see it with a lot of the newer players, but generally with the experienced players, not so much. I almost have to recant that statement because a lot of the higher item level content, you're actually seeing players use this too. These two artifacts are so cringeworthy. Wish they would just delete them, honestly. Number 3, the Crystal of Soulflight. This artifact's great. Actually, it's amazing. But there's a huge problem with this artifact for hosters. The problem with this artifact is this artifact should be used in group content, but the player who should be using it is the player who does the most damage during the artifact call, because that's when it's active. And from my observation, and very many others as well, as we've seen in Discord and Allied Chat, is generally a lot of the newer players who don't quite know their classes and the rotation and the mechanics that well are the ones using this. And it's a big nightmare for the hoster. And the hoster, a lot of times, if the other two DPS are on other artifacts, they'll just let them wear it because they don't want to go through the trouble of sorting until the group wipes and they're like, okay, take this great artifact off this okay player and put it on a great player. So, what's annoying about this artifact is a lot of the players who are using it shouldn't be using it. And a lot of players that know they should be using it don't want to seem conceited or self centered or act like they're better than anybody and say, hey, I should be wearing it. So, the hoster, should, if they want to take control of the group, because that's their job. They control the group. If they want the group to have a higher level of success, they'll put on the player who has the most damage potential or the most damage during the artifact call. A lot of times we don't know that because we don't know everybody in the group. But sometimes, even though we don't know anybody in the group, it's immediately apparent when you get to the boss who should be using it. Number 4, the Wand of Domination. This damn artifact. And a lot of people say it's good. It's a 7.5% debuff. Yeah, but when we have like 12 other 10% or higher debuffs in this game, it essentially means the Wand of Domination has no place whatsoever in this game. I know a lot of people who host MGR and stuff. If they know the team really good and they're gonna get a complete anyways, they don't want to mess with people's builds, so they'll let somebody use it. But if you're running in a group who's trying to get through content, there's no way this artifact's gonna ever help the group when there's way more artifacts that exist in the game that can be equipped over this artifact. This one is super cringe. And what makes it doubly cringe is how much those players paid for this useless artifact. It's okay as a secondary, but pretty soon when we start getting our third and fourth, 1800 level artifacts, this artifact will have no place in the game whatsoever. It will make Zemid pretty much a useless content because it won't drop anything of any value. The only reason why this has any value is because it's a triple slot 1500 level artifact, but those are almost all replaced very soon. We know we got the other one coming on the second battle pass, and we're pretty sure the fourth one's coming in the next Lockbox. So kiss the Wand of Domination goodbye. Good riddance. It's so painful as a host to say, hey, you know that 4,000,000 AD artifact you're wearing? Take that piece of shit off, please. That's really what you're thinking, but you're like, hey, can you please use one that helps the group more than that one you're currently wearing? Which takes us to artifact number 5. And this one's borderline. This one's like the Wand of Domination. Where it does 7.5% debuff. But unlike the Wand of Domination that has no purpose being worn because its set bonus is pure trash, the Mirrorless set actually belongs to a best in slot artifact set. And it will probably be best in slot for years because it gives a group of it gives a 5% debuff. So the Mirrorless set is amazing. So sometimes you can kind of deal with somebody using the mirrorless set, but it's really annoying when you see them have it slotted as a primary, and then in their secondary they have like a dragon bone blades or they have a beacon, and you're like, why aren't you? Why am I having to ask you to take off that shitty artifact and replace it with a better artifact? God, that's annoying. Anyways, and to round it up, honorable mention number 6, the Alaric's Artillery Beacon. This thing. It's not so much of a problem as it was as compared to when it came out in the battle pass it came out in. God, so many players were wearing it, especially because it came out during 10-man content. So a lot of players would use this, but the problem is the group wouldn't have like a charm or a heart of the black dragon. It would be missing a 10% artifact, and they'd be using this 5% artifact. And there's nothing worse as a hoster to ask these people in master content to please stop using these artifacts that hurt the team and not help the team. But this one isn't so much of a problem anymore. But it's still cringe when I see somebody wear it. And that's just not me. That's probably most hosters running any type of content that has any type of challenge whatsoever. So here's my six most cringeworthy artifacts in the game. If you have any other artifacts that I missed, please comment below, and I'll cover them next time. Stay class, Neverwinter. See you soon.